Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on a pretty miserable Tuesday. Another defeat for Arsenal, a third defeat in 4 last night, a real sucker punch as well, conceding a last minute winner at Everton. Got what they deserved. Arsenal were awful, no doubt about that. Really disappointing and poor performance on the back of the defeat at Old Trafford for Arsenal. Obviously, I wasn't there last night, that's why I didn't do my usual stuff in the video, so apologies for that. Just can't because of family sort of responsibilities in terms of school runs and stuff. I couldn't stay up in Liverpool last night, and unfortunately my little boy as well broke his collarbone on Sunday going headfirst off a bouncy castle at his mate's party. Honestly, lasted 2 minutes at the party. Hadn't even really started yet and he managed to break his collarbone. So I spent the day in A&E on Sunday, and so I've got a very sad little boy at home at the moment, and it's making it very hard to get out and about. That's why I haven't done any videos for a while as well, so apologies for that. But I did get to watch the game yesterday. I did cover it as usual just from home. And another defeat. I think I've missed. I think Arsenal lost 6 games this season. I'm pretty sure I've not been there for 5 of them. So I need to, by hook or by crook, make it to every single match by the looks of it, because whenever I'm not there, we seem to lose. I mean, it was just a really disappointing performance, wasn't it? No doubt about it. I mean, Everton, terrible run going into the game. As usual with Arsenal, seems to be perfect club to bring any club out of a crisis. They let the lead slip at Old Trafford. They've done it again last night. 1-0 up with 11 minutes to go. But they never felt in control. I mean, obviously Everton had those 2 goals that were chalked off of VAR before they eventually got the equaliser. And it's just a really frustrating thing for Arsenal at the moment. It's just a familiar thing. They can't kick on and win games that they should go on and win comfortably. Yes, they didn't play well yesterday. Absolutely. But still, they managed to get themselves in front. There was, 11, 12 minutes remaining, they were still in front. You just see that game out. Even if you're not playing well, you see that game out. And they just seem totally unable to do that. They don't have any control. At no point in the game do you think they're safe here, they're going to see that out. And that's really disappointing. And it's clearly down to a few things. I mean, they were sloppy in possession yesterday, kept giving the ball back to Everton. And that allowed Everton to get up ahead of steam. It got the crowd involved. Some of the senior players just aren't performing. I mean, Thomas Partey, who I'll get to a little bit later in this video, had another really disappointing night yesterday in midfield. That's the sort of game you want him to control, that in central midfield, really put his stamp on the game, and he was just unable to do that, and it was disappointing. And Everton were just able to seize control of things, and Arsenal couldn't go on and kill the game off. If they'd had a little bit more about them going forward, they would have got the second goal, and it's done and dusted. But they just didn't. They never really looked like scoring. It wasn't until Everton equalised, made it 1-1, and then suddenly Arsenal started to look like a threat. But before that, they just offered very, very little. I mean, it was a great goal by Martin Odegaard before the break. There was one real moment of quality that Arsenal put together. Tierney did great down the left, great ball in, lovely finish from Odegaard. And you just wanted to see more of that, but it just didn't happen. And like I said, it wasn't until Arsenal had equalised, Everton had equalised, and it was 1-1. Then suddenly Arsenal started to create some chances. Odegaard had a couple. Eddie should have scored with that header. Somehow he managed to miss it, and that was at 1-1. Even after Demarai Gray had made it 2-1 for Everton, Arsenal created that opportunity for Aubameyang. But before that, when they weren't having to chase the game, there was none of that belief really, or just the determination to go forward and try and kill things off. And that's what we've seen at Old Trafford as well. And even in games that they've gone on to win this season, that's still been a problem. They've maybe taken their foot off the gas a little bit too early. They just don't have it about them to go on. And Martin Odegaard made some really interesting comments, I thought, after the game. He said, we have to do better when we have the lead. We stopped playing and gave them the game that they wanted to play. I think it is a mindset problem when you're leading 1-0 and you get afraid to lose the win. And in my opinion, that's what we did wrong. You go for the second goal, and that was the intention, but we didn't manage to do it on the pitch. And this is something that Mikel Arteta's faced questions about time and time again through this season. He did again last night. He sort of batted it away. But it's something he's got to solve, because Arsenal have got themselves into some really good positions this season and managed to hold on in some of the games. But in the last couple, they absolutely not been able to. You look at the Old Trafford defeat and you look at last night's defeat, and Arsenal quite comfortably have been sitting here with 6 points from those two games, and they would be in a really excellent position in terms of the top four had they been able to do that. The opportunity was there and they let it slip through their hands. They shot themselves in the foot at Old Trafford, and they shot themselves in the foot again last night. And it's just something they're going to have to get better with, because if they don't, then this season is going to very quickly go from being an opportunity to do something good to suddenly find yourself languishing around mid-table once again. I mean, Arsenal down to, I think, 7th now. It's still not a terrible picture when you look at the league table. I think they're only 4 points outside the top four. They've got 2 home games to come now, but they've got to get themselves back up, and they've got to start showing, and they've got a little bit more about themselves, because that really good run in September and October is beginning to feel like a long time ago now. Suddenly, as always with Arsenal, you manage to go from a high and things running relatively serenely to suddenly crisis mode. And at the moment with Arsenal, we've had this, and now we're down here again, and we're in a bit of crisis mode, and they need to get themselves out of it as quickly as possible. You look at those 2 games they've got coming up now, really, really important. Southampton at the weekend, then West Ham, in midweek next week. 2 home games. Arsenal win those and they get 6 points, then they're going to be in a nice position again, you would think. I think, like I said, they're 7th now, but West Ham are 4th. If Arsenal can get 3 points off West Ham, then that's going to massively, lessen that gap. And it will put themselves in a good position going into the festive period. So this is by no means Arsenal's season done and dusted after this week, but it just feels like a frustrating thing, because it was a big week for Arsenal. It was a chance to send out a real statement about where they are this season. And unfortunately, all that's been left is a similar sort of questions. Why can't they build on a lead? Why can't they keep a lead? What's going on with Thomas Partey? What's going on with Nicolas Pepe? Just, why isn't Eddie Nketiah coming on as your first sub when Martinelli gets injured, and you got Aubameyang on the bench, you got Pepe on the bench, who, especially when you think Martinelli was playing as a winger, what's going on with Nicolas Pepe? And I asked Mikel this after the game yesterday. Why he brought on Eddie, a player who's a striker, first of all, who's out of contract in the summer, who's rejected a new contract and looks likely to leave for free. Why are you bringing him on ahead of your club's record signing? And he said, Eddie does every day in training what you saw him do in the 25 minutes here every single day. That's why I picked him. I decided to play Eddie, and he created 3 chances and hit the post in 25 minutes, which is all well and good, but it doesn't really answer the question in terms of what's going on with Nicolas Pepe, because you've got to think Nicolas Pepe is in something is not right there. You're a team that struggled to score goals. Nicolas Pepe scored 16 goals in all competitions last season. He was your second leading scorer. He's your club's record signing. In the last 7 games, he has played 5 minutes in the Premier League and played none in the 3 defeats. You think at Old Trafford, you're chasing a game. You think at Everton, you're chasing a game towards the end. You still don't bring him on, and he's for all. And I'm not the Nicolas Pepe's biggest fan by any means. I think he's been a big disappointment since he arrived at Arsenal. But one thing you can say about Nicolas Pepe is he is a goal threat. He can be a goal threat. He's a good finisher when he gets into positions. So when you're struggling for goals, when you need goals, and you're not playing him, and you're bringing on a player who's going to go for free at the end of the season ahead of him, it says an awful lot about where Nicolas Pepe is right now in Mikel Arteta's plans. And you got to think it's looking pretty. It's pretty poor for Pepe in terms of his long-term future at Arsenal, because we've seen Mikel Arteta do this with players before. He kind of freezes them out when you're not expecting, they don't play, and then suddenly they come back into the fold. But you look at Pepe, he's not playing at the moment. He's got the Africa Nations coming up when he's going to disappear for a few weeks. Suddenly we're going to be in February and he's barely played any football, and I think that says an awful lot about what Nicolas Pepe's sort of long-term future at Arsenal is beginning to feel a little bit terminal when it comes to him and Arsenal at the moment. But it's going to be very difficult. Should Arsenal try and move him on and sell him, then it's going to be very difficult for Arsenal to do that in the summer, because they're going to have to take a massive financial hit. He's on big wages. He hasn't exactly pulled up any trees at Arsenal. I can't imagine there being too many clubs sort of banging the door down for Nicolas Pepe. So it's going to be very difficult for Arsenal to move on. And we've seen that with them time and time again with some of these players recently. So Pepe form is a worry, and so is that of Thomas Partey. I mean, what is going on with Thomas at the moment? A player who
we were all so excited about signing. He started off well. We saw what he did at that first game at Old Trafford. We know how good he is. We absolutely know how good he is. And he's a quality player, but it's just not happening for him at the moment. And he looks a shadow of his former self. And last night, again, was just really, really disappointing. In a game where you wanted to see him boss that midfield, take control, he just couldn't do it. And he just looks so short of confidence. You can really see it at the moment, I think, with Thomas Partey. When he gets the ball, he looks like he's panicking. As soon as he gets it, he just feels rushed. Everything, he's like, what do I do? Where do I pass it? I don't want to do anything wrong. To me, it feels like there's so many things going through his head when he gets the ball that he's not doing, even at times, the simple things right, because he's just overthinking things. And that reeks of a player who's got very, very short confidence at the moment. And it's an issue for Arsenal because we need Thomas Partey playing well. Invested an awful lot of money in him. He was this player who's going to come in and transform the midfield, and he absolutely has the qualities to do that. But it's just not happening, and it is a growing concern because Arsenal can't afford Thomas Partey not to be playing well. That's why he was brought in. He was the ready-made player, brought in at 27 to boss the midfield, and it's just not happened, and it's really, really frustrating and concerning. And I was really disappointed with Thomas last night, I have to say, and I was at Anfield as well. Okay, so before I go today, I'm going to end with the player ratings. Obviously, I didn't get to do them last night because I wasn't at the game and there was just stuff going on afterwards full time. And so I'll go through these. Obviously, not going to be the highest marks, unfortunately, after yet another defeat. I'll start with Ramsdale, who I give a 6. Didn't have too many saves. Made a really good save from Iwobi at the end, which stopped it being 3-1, which would have been even harder to take. Actually got a real fingertip on the Demarai Gray effort. They hit the bar before Richarlison headed in the rebound, which was a good save, and unfortunately it just fell to Richarlison, who was a really good header actually. And give Ramsdale a 6. Tomiyasu, I'm going to give a 5. He was really sloppy in possession. I think he lost the ball, lost possession about 24 times, Tomiyasu, yesterday. He needs to sharpen up on that a little bit. But he was solid in a lot of his game. I think he won every single aerial duel. He won, defensively he was right. It's just in possession he was just a little bit sloppy, I thought, yesterday. I'm going to give Tomiyasu a 5, White a 5, Gabriel 6, Tierney 6. Great ball by Tierney for the goal. Put in another fabulous cross in the second half as well that had no one in the box. Just Lacazette was standing on the edge of the penalty area rather than being on the edge of the 6-yard box where he would have had a tap in. That was disappointing. I'm going to give Tierney a 6. Thomas Partey, I'm going to give a 4. Really disappointing night for Thomas Partey. Granit Xhaka back in the side, straight back into the starting 11. I think that says everything about what Mikel Arteta thinks of him. Got booked. Had he not got booked, he would have probably brought down, I think it was Andre Gomez in the build-up to the second goal, but he didn't. He sort of pulled out of a challenge because he was worried he was going to get a second yellow card. And that ended up leading to the goal. Andre Gomez found Demarai Gray, I think, and we all know what Demarai Gray went and done. Xhaka, I'm going to give a 5. Saka, I'm going to give a 5. Unlucky, should have got an assist. I mean, brilliant play and cross for the headed chance for Eddie Nketiah that Eddie missed. So he was unlucky, but on the whole, it was a pretty quiet night. Saka got absolutely hammered by the Everton players. Some really tough tackles. So he's going to get a 5. Odegaard, I'm going to give a 6. Another goal for Odegaard, which is good. You want to see more of that. Could have maybe had another in the second half. Worked a couple of decent positions, but had 2 shots blocked. I'm going to give him a 6. Martinelli didn't really do too much. Had one opportunity in the second half where he went around the keeper, but he got his cross a bit wrong and it ended up on the roof of the net. Had he put in a better ball with Lacazette and someone else was in the area, could have got something on it. So I'll give Martinelli a 5. Lacazette, I'm going to give a 3. I thought it was disappointing from Lacazette. I mean, he had no service whatsoever, really. But even when there was, like I said, a couple of good crosses that were put in, he wasn't in and around the 6-yard box, which he should have been. His hold-up play wasn't great. It was just a bit of a nothing performance from Lacazette, really. So he gets a 3. I'm not really going to mark any of the subs. I mean, Eddie, certainly you can't say that Eddie didn't make things happen. He did. It was his chance to set up that great chance for Auber at the end in injury time, which Auber put wide. He hit the post, should have scored. Absolutely should have scored as a sitter. But at least he did make a couple of things happen, Eddie, but I'm still not going to give the substitutes any rating. So there you go. Ramsdale 6, Tomiyasu 5, White 5, Gabriel 6, Tierney 6, Partey 4, Xhaka 5, Saka 5, Odegaard 6, Martinelli 5, Lacazette 3. Not really going to give a man of the match to anyone because I just don't think it would have been probably maybe Odegaard just because he scored the goal and I think he looked like the most likely of anyone who's going to make things happen. But not really any man of the match after a performance like that for Arsenal. All right, everyone, thank you for watching. Again, apologies, I haven't done too many videos recently. It's just been a bit difficult here at home to be able to do that. But I will try and do it as the week progresses, to do a few more videos and start looking ahead to that game at the weekend, which is now a very, very big game at the Emirates. Have a good day, everyone. Speak to you soon.